WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We are learning more about the suspect shot and killed last night after a police chase ended in gunfire in Pontotoc County. It all started in Union County. Sheriff Jimmy Edwards tells us the suspect was Terry Payne. The incident ended in Pontotoc County when investigators say that Payne stopped his car, came out with a gun, and then was fatally shot by officers. WCBI's Allie Martin has more on the incident and the suspect.
It all began on this stretch of County Road 102 as Union County deputies tried to pull over a vehicle, but Sheriff Jimmy Edwards says things took a wrong turn.
He exited the vehicle, made some type of derogatory statement towards the deputy, got back in the vehicle and sped away, where deputies at that time initiated a pursuit.
Sheriff Edwards says the suspect, Terry Payne, was driving with a suspended license. The sheriff says Payne, who had a criminal record, led officers through Union County and into Pontotoc County. The pursuit was joined by the Mississippi Highway Patrol and the Pontotoc County Sheriff's Department.
During the pursuit, he fired shots.
The chase ended about 30 minutes later at the house behind me, 1445 Highway 9 South in Pontotoc. Authorities say Payne crashed into a car, pulled into the driveway, got out of his car, raised his weapon, and was shot. Sheriff Edwards says officers involved were not hurt, but they were shaken up.
No one ever wants to be placed in that situation where they're being shot at, but certainly when they are, then it gives them the right, to protect themselves, and that's what they had to do. We had prayer with them here last night at the sheriff's office and a counselor with them.
The officers are on administrative leave, and the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation has taken over the case. All routine practices for an officer-involved shooting.
We have nothing to hide. Our officers done a good job, and we're thankful that they're okay.
Allie Martin, WCBI News.
The woman whose car was struck by Payne as the chase ended is okay tonight. Sheriff Edwards says the last officer-involved shooting with his department was 11 months ago when fleeing suspects fired shots at a deputy. The deputy was not hurt. Those suspects were captured later in Memphis. One man is dead and another person is in custody tonight following a deadly shooting. Itawamba County Sheriff Chris Dickinson says the call came in around 1:50 this afternoon. He says the shooting happened in the Kirkville community on Fidget Road. Investigators say a man identified as Michael Gorge was shot 4 times. Investigators are now speaking with 2 witnesses who were at the scene at the time of the shooting. The name of the suspect has not been released. The shooting is still under investigation. Hearts in Eupora are broken tonight after learning of the tragic accident that killed a 1-year-old little boy. Eupora Police Chief Greg Hunter says yesterday afternoon the child was run over after getting behind a vehicle. The driver reportedly backed up and did not see the little boy. Family members have identified him as 14-month-old Major Barr. Tonight there's a candlelight vigil and balloon release scheduled at Eupora White Creek Lake. Eupora Police and the Department of Human Services are both investigating this accident. Terrence Schaefer is charged after being indicted by a Clay County grand jury. The 20-year-old faces an aggravated assault charge. Prosecutors allege Schaefer hit someone over the head with a pistol. This happened in September of 2008. He has been released on a $5,400 bond. Meanwhile, Tupelo police make an arrest in a car burglary spree early Sunday morning. Police detained 2 male juveniles on suspicion of breaking and entering automobiles. Police say one of the boys had a loaded handgun on him. The 2 are persons of interest in multiple car burglaries at the Pines Apartments and Trace Ridge Apartments. The case is now being handed over to Lee County Youth Court. Starkville leaders are expected to take the first steps to replace a bridge. Aldermen could hire an engineer to lead this project that would replace the SHS bridge. The bridge is on the Starkville High School campus. Right now, there's a weight limit on it that would prohibit buses from crossing the bridge. No timetable has been set on when work would be done. State inspectors ordered the replacement. Time now to turn things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson for a first look at our forecast. One word, 3 letters, hot.
Hot, very hot, and quite humid out there as well, Andre. You can see a few friendly clouds there at Durham's Pharmacy in West Alabama. Also some higher level cirrus clouds there in Louisville, Mississippi. But in general, all quiet here in our neck of the woods right now. The current temperature in the low and mid 90s. Now that's the actual temperature. You factor in that humidity, it feels like the triple digits in some instances here in our viewing area. Now we do have some of these higher clouds streaming on in from the southwest. Storms blossom to our southwest today. Those are falling apart. I don't think they're going to get here. So it's going to be a warm and steamy evening by 11 o'clock, upper 70s here. Lows tonight into the 70s. So that's the current situation. We'll have a look at the upcoming holiday weekend in just a few more minutes.
The clock is ticking for Columbus residents whose homes were severely damaged in the February tornado. Last week, residents were given a letter to notify the city of their plans to clean up. Homeowners could either rebuild their home, demolish it themselves, or have the city demolish it for them. City code enforcement officer says that he will go out into the neighborhoods this week to check on the progress homeowners are making. Now, for those who are demolishing their homes, they'll have 45 days to do so. For those who plan to rebuild, there's no date set on when it has to be done, but steady progress must be made on the homes. There are still some people in the city who have not, that the city has not heard from. The code inspector says an abatement process will soon start.
That's where we send out a notice, and in that notice we'll give them a reasonable amount of time to even make contact and let us know their intent, their plan of action. If they don't respond, then we'll proceed with having an abatement hearing before our mayor and council. If they show up at the hearing and have a plan of action, we'll work with them on their behalf, but if they don't, then we'll proceed with the mayor and council will proceed with giving our public works department permission to go onto their property to demo it and clean it off.
Now, this process is only for property owners whose homes were deemed unfit to live in. Jones says the city sent out a total of 27 letters. They've so far heard back from 19 homeowners. It started months ago. At first, there were just a few, and then more and more turned up. Now, people who live in Winona are dealing with buzzards, the most unwanted of neighbors. Our Riley Livingston takes a look at how city leaders are trying to remove these feathered creatures. She joins us in the studio with more on the plan. Riley.
Andrea, Winona is facing an unwanted invader. Dozens of birds are destroying property and leaving behind a mess that the city has to clean up.
They can be a nuisance, and that's what they are here.
Buzzards have come to Winona. The birds have made their temporary homes in abandoned buildings and wooded areas.
It seemed like most of the vultures were concentrated in the same part of town, more than likely because there's a wooded area there for them to rest or hang out. The numbers of the actual group vary, which makes me kind of think that they're not just one group settled there. They might be in a circuit.
That circuit has residents on edge.
They like to pull the rubber part off of roofs, where on the shingle roof where you got the rubber, they'll pull it off. They don't eat it, but they'll pull it off.
It's illegal to harm a buzzard. The big birds are protected by the Migratory Bird Treaty Act.
You just can't go out and handle them or address the issue in a lethal way or any other way that's, not accepted by USDA.
Because of that, cities are turning to different methods, including loud noises or placing a decoy bird in distress. Mayor Jerry Flowers says getting the birds to leave is going to be a group effort.
It needs to be a community effort. It can't be just my house and nobody else. It's got to be, if they come to my house, we have to harass them. You can harass them with noise, with fireworks, whatever. But once they leave there, you got to have someone at the next house to harass them. Because if you don't do that, it's not going to work. So that's why we're trying to educate the people on it.
Animal Control Officer Arlen Pearson says the goal is to get the birds out of Winona and on their way.
Of course, they have their place in nature, they have their thing, but when they get inside the city limits and cause property damage, that's when we try to address the issue.
A community meeting with city leaders will be held at 4 p.m. Monday at the Powell Street Community Center.
Coming up, some scary moments for drivers after grass fire breaks out along a stretch of highway. What fire crews say caused the flare-ups. Stay with us.
You're watching WCBI's News at 6 with Andrea Self.
Welcome back. A transformer malfunction is believed to have sparked a grass fire alongside Highway 15 South in Union County. It caused a temporary traffic jam. Also, this happened around 12:30 this afternoon. At least 2 vehicles were hit with debris. Electric crews, along with the Union County Sheriff's Department and the Mississippi Highway Patrol, were on the scene trying to help direct traffic and take reports. Crews were also investigating a similar incident on the same power line just south of this first incident. No injuries were reported. The grass fires were quickly put out. Well, as more families head to the pool, there may already be one swimmer lurking in the water. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention has issued a warning for a parasite that can survive in water up to a week. This parasite can be found in swimming pools. Parks employees at Moncrief Park in Starkville are constantly monitoring the water. The staff measures pH and chlorine levels frequently to make sure that the water quality is good. Executive Director of Parks and Recreation, Gary Logan, has some tips on what families should do to stay healthy and enjoy the pool.
Things like showering before and after you enter any type of, especially if you enter a pool. If it's a minor cut, if it's an open wound on their skin, they really don't need to go to any type of public pool because, you know, they get in the water. You may even have a Band-Aid on there, but that doesn't matter. The water's going to get in there. So whatever, if they've got an open cut, they're now transferring that into basically the open water.
Now, Logan also says you should never swallow pool water, and if you come in contact with this parasite, you may experience stomach cramps, fever, and vomiting. It's recommended that you wait to swim for at least 3 weeks or until all of those symptoms are completely gone.
Right now in the Columbus area and everywhere else, it is warm, it is steamy, and we will stay that way. We will also have a few more storms in the forecast, too. Details on that coming up next.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
All right, let's talk about your Wednesday, a big travel day, perhaps getting ahead of the holiday weekend. More numerous storms out there expected. The rain chance 50%, winds from the southwest 4 to 8. Now our high should be somewhere around 90 or the low 90s before the storms start to pop up around here. So that's where we're headed for our Wednesday. Today we really couldn't squeeze out a lot of rain around here. Tomorrow probably more in the way of showers and storms dotting the landscape. Is going to be completely random as to where they actually develop first. But our lightning potential not very high mid-morning. As we get into the noon hour and early afternoon, notice how we'll start to bubble up these storms. And this is just one particular solution here, illustrating that there could be some frequent lightning in the area. If you can hear thunder, you could be struck by lightning. So if you hear that, come on indoors. And these storms will be rumbling across the region, and they'll fizzle once we get into the evening hours. This is 9 or 10 o'clock right there. All the storms should be done. And that's basically the trend here for the next couple of days for the holiday weekend, too. Thursday, 92, the 4th of July, 94 on Friday, and Saturday, 90 on Sunday. Chances for storms a little bit lower on Thursday compared to Wednesday, much lower Friday and Saturday before they peak back up again, or go back up again on Sunday. Here's a live view with our Alpha Insurance camera network. You can see some of these high cirrus clouds streaming on in from the southwest. Those clouds associated with some showers and storms that have been down here across central and southern Mississippi. Those are falling apart, but we still have the residual cloud cover, bigger batches of rain down there in Louisiana and Texas, and even down there in the Gulf of Mexico. But some of that moisture will come back up here tomorrow and give us a chance for some of those scattered storms. Looks like I have a typo right there. Numerous storms Wednesday. Pop-up showers and storms is a big threat there. Boy, Don't know what I was doing there when I was typing those out earlier today. Futurecast picking up on the quiet conditions for this evening, but you can see some of those higher cirrus clouds as we go throughout the course of the overnight hours. Tomorrow, midday, scattered showers and storms will blossom up somewhere here across northeast Mississippi and west Alabama. As we mentioned, those will fall apart. Now, we should have a pretty tame start to our Thursday, to your 4th of July, but we do anticipate some additional showers and storms around here on a scattered basis Thursday afternoon, but a lot of that will go away just in time for those fireworks here in the evening. This is Hurricane Barbara way out there in the eastern Pacific. Look at this thing. It's a monster, major Category 4 storm moving back to the west, but it's way out to sea. It's going to affect nobody, and that's only good news. And it should fall apart before it gets to Hawaii right there. But that's the first big one in the eastern Pacific this year. No threat in the Atlantic thus far. That's certainly good news for us locally in the Gulf and really across all of the southeastern United States. But for us, we're looking at highs generally in the low to mid 90s for the next 7 days. Daily rain chances there and overnight lows in the 70s.
Okolona is up next on the high school football tour. New faces will lead the Chieftains, but the goals remain the same. See the preview next in sports.
Tonight, WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Our next stop on the high school football tour features the Okolona Chieftains. Head coach Lamar Harvey and company have reloaded this roster and are eager to showcase some of the new faces.
You don't win football games in August and September, you win football games right now, guys. That's why we do this every day.
Okolona's hard work and daily grind will be put to the test this season. Head coach Lamar Harvey faces his toughest challenge yet, as the Chieftains have experienced plenty of turnover the last 2 seasons.
We lost 25 seasons the last 2 years, so this year's going to be a rebuilding. Hope people can be a little patient with it, because we got some young guys and some young, in positions that's going to have to make some plays.
I don't talk a lot, like on the field. I don't try to force nobody to do nothing. I just try to lead by example, and hopefully the underclassmen try to follow on what I do.
The biggest hole to fill for Okolona is left by star running back Jacorius Sandfield.
I don't know if we can fill him. I mean, we got some guys capable of doing some of the things he did, but Stanfield's one of those once in a lifetime generation type of player, whatever, with his size and speed and everything. But we got some guys that's going to try to fill his shoes, but he was a small guy, but the shoes are mighty big to fill.
It's not going to take one person. It's going to take a lot, because Coach Tiller not a lot of players coming like that. He a dime a dozen, so it's going to take a lot of us to do just what he did.
It's hard to replace it, but I know it's a few guys can do what he do. Not everybody can do it, but put a few guys there to do what he got to do. But the whole team got to step up, not just one man.
All-around team effort will be key, as Okolona will battle it out in what is easily the toughest region in 1A.
Knox, Payton, Wild, TCPS, Smithfield, man, ourselves, and I think French Camp, we were all playoff teams last year. So this year, two clubs will be missing out, and we're just trying to strive. We want to get into playoffs. We want to get into dance, but it's going to be difficult. I'll be honest, it's going to be a challenge with these young guys, but we're up for the challenge. We're up for the challenge.
We just got to give more effort than they do, and just keep competing, no matter how tough the game get.
They just another team. We just got to compete. I know, now why none of the Warriors, they won state championship, but they don't scare us, because we've been playing against tougher teams and stuff, so we just got to compete.
Reporting in Okolona, Chris Bolton, WCBI Sports.
60 schools in 60 days with Okolona High School is brought to you by Bank of Okolona and Okolona Pharmacy.
For those keeping track at home, go to our Twitter and Facebook accounts at WCBI Endzone to see the full schedules. But here's some of the upcoming stops on the high school football tour. French Camp coming up tomorrow, Baldwin on Thursday, the reigning division champion East Union Urchins on Friday, and then Manatee kicking off the weekend on Saturday. If you've missed any of the stops up to this point, go over to our website, WCBI.com. In case you missed it, the U.S. women's national team, they are 1 win away starting today from its 3rd straight World Cup Finals appearance, taking on England. Kristen Press for Megan Rubino. The change in the starting lineup looking good. The U.S. able to get on the board first thanks to a beautiful cross and a header from Press. So that made it 1-0, and then England would answer with an equalizer, an equally very nice ball inside. So England ties it up 1-1, and then on her 30th birthday, just leave it up for Alex Morgan. Morgan's going to end up finding this one inside the box. Beautiful passing from the United States. Just get it inside to Morgan. with the header. Not a birthday present. 6th goal of the tournament. She'd also sip the tea right here. Thank you very much for the dub. The United States gets the win 2-1. They'll meet up with Sweden and Netherlands on Sunday. That's it for sports. Last look at your weather is next.
No surprise here, around 90 tomorrow, give or take, with those budding showers and storms. Probably more coverage tomorrow versus what we'll have on Thursday. By fireworks time, we should be okay, I think. And then just some warm and hot weather. That's redundant. Warm and steamy weather Friday, Saturday, mid-90s there.
All right, might be a good idea also to kind of check the forecast where you're going if you're traveling, because a lot of people will be hitting the road.
That is true, and the general forecast here is a general forecast for the southeast, though.
All right, that is the news at 6. We'll see you back here tonight at 10.